Resident Evil Vendetta, the third CG movie in the Resident Evil series, taking place in the timeline of the video games. Resident Evil Degeneration took place between Resident Evil 4 and 5, and they were able to see Claire, one of the most popular characters, back. Well, to me, she should be one of the most popular characters. And then we also had Damnation, which took place between Resident Evil 5 and 6. With the newest movie, Resident Evil Vendetta, this movie took place between, well, after Resident Evil 6, and most likely before Resident Evil 7. They don't give an exact year or month in this one. You just know it's after the events, especially if you're a fan of the video games or not a fan of the video games. And I haven't done any types of Resident Evil videos other than the Farley and Higher Fridays that I've been producing. So for me, the Resident Evil fan base, as the way I've always seen it, is torn in two. Maybe if there's a third part too, but can we actually count that third area? Let me go over. So Resident Evil, people who've grown up with the games in the past, who are people mainly in their mid-20s, the mid to late 30s or 40s, they're mainly fans of the first three games, or even people my age think the same way. So you have fans of all types of ages, mainly the older crowd, who are fans of just the originals, 1, 2, 3, and Code Veronica. Then you have people who are much younger, and people my age or younger, who grew up with 4, 5, and 6. But then they went back and played 1, 2, and 3. But they're still more fans of the ones they essentially grew up with. And then you have the fans who love everything. 1 through 6, the whole story, all of the changes they made, and that's fine too. And then we have the live action fans, but we're not talking about just the live action. If you're only a fan of just the live action movies, you really gotta see the whole series as a whole. So the fan base has been torn. It's always been torn. It's either you like all of it, or half of it, or the live action. And for me, the CG movies are the highlight movies of the series. We don't talk about the live action. If you really want me to do a marathon review of that, that's gonna take us some time. There's a lot to nitpick. I've mainly been a fan of the whole series. I mean, I like certain games more than others, but for me, I go as far as replay value and just story, characters, and so on. For me, I've always liked Resident Evil for its story, for its lore, for its world, compared to the horror aspects of it. Vendetta is a movie that seems like it wants to start off with a bit of the horror and then it drives right back to the action. So it's trying to please both sides of the fandom, which I applaud it. It doesn't do a bad job. And for something that takes place after Resident Evil 6, this might be the last thing we ever get to seeing what happened after that. Where is bioterrorism in this world now? And apparently with the Death Merchant. His name's Glenn Arias, I believe. The trailer is shot very magnific. Well, you can't shoot a trailer. They created the trailer, they moved the camera. It's computer-generated images. For me, Resident Evil Vendetta, let's start with the music. The music by the composer Kenji Kawai. He's composed music for Ghost in the Shell, the Ip Man movies. This guy is huge, and his music is always phenomenal. Like, it's some of my favorite music that I can listen to while cleaning at work or just anything in general, all day, every day. That's how big of a fan I am of Kenji Kawai's music, as well as the music composer I work with too. So the music, easily some of the best parts of the entire movie. Now, as far as the characters and story, for me, seeing Leon and Chris actually working together for once is super nice. Granted, Leon has way more of the back burner. What they're trying to do with this movie is that they wanted to take Resident Evil 0, 1, and 2, take their main protagonists and put them together in one movie, and it works. It works really well. Rebecca Chambers is like the doctor. Oh, actually, she's more of a scientist. Let's just call her a scientist. And she's like going through all this experiments and research, and she's figuring out the cure to this new virus that's going around. And then, of course, Chris is the leader of the BSAA. He's the one who's stopping and fighting bioterrorism day by day. Sadly, Leon becomes a drunk. We kind of expected this. And the end of Resident Evil Damnation, he is sipping wine, or I forget what kind of drink he is. I think it's hard whiskey. He's drinking whiskey. He's like, I'm done. I'm so tired of this. And then in 6, he's still tired of it, but he has more of a motivation to fight. I mean, he's lost one of his best friends, and he wants to put the end to the guy who did it to him. And then out here, he's like, really, guys? Do you really want me to come back? And fine. And he has more anger outbursts, but can you really blame him? At this point in the story, the characters are so seasonal to where I can't see how they could ever be in a horror-like game ever again. They're way past their rookie years, and they're so experienced that even fighting behemoths of bioterrorist weapons they're challenged a bit when it comes to doing it, but it's like another day in the park for them. I mean, obviously, a normal person like you and I we would be corpses very quickly. Some of the best scenes in the movie comes from them fighting in this hallway. It's where Chris and Leon work together and just taking on like hordes and hordes of zombies, and they're not struggling at all. And seeing them like putting them in arm locks, making sure their mouths don't even get close to them, using their bodies to push another zombie, protecting their back. It's all very well choreographed and very well animated. For me, the story is strong. The main villain, Glenn Arias, he has a vendetta. Vendetta also means vengeance. I don't want to go heavy in spoilers. I want this to be a spoiler-free review. But something happened to him. He's pissed. He wants to get revenge on the United States as a whole. And he goes for New York City. Damn, this guy does have a vendetta. And for me, he does a really good job. We actually get to learn a whole lot about him, since he lives and dies in this movie. We learn a whole lot. And being able to give us that much character development as to why he does what he does, where he plans on going, and what his motivations are, it's pretty darn amazing. For me, he's one of my favorite villains, and the fact that they incorporated a lot more hand-to-hand combat is really nice to see. Granted, of course, it's a movie, a bit of it's going to be overplayed. But for like those 1-versus-1 battles between Glenn and Chris, they're some of my favorite scenes in the entire movie. Along with that music to go with it, it's eye candy. So much of it's eye candy. And I do have some nostalgia blind glasses to the series because of how eye candy like the latest games and the entries were. Like the fight between Leon and Krauser. Yeah, I got my nostalgia glasses on. That's freaking cool. I love it to this day. Granted, I like watching it more without the quick time events, but it's still nice. I mean, for me, I always loved the series and the story. But it's also why Vendetta falls flat near the end. There's so much build up, so much anticipation. The fight scenes are great. But then when you get to that final fight scene, the non-spoiler version, it falls a bit flat. Like, you know what's gonna happen. There's not gonna be any huge consequences. Once it's done, it's done. And then, for me, between the action, there's too much, pausing gaps. Like, okay, you get this bit of action, you want to keep going for at least 2 or 3 minutes. Oh wait, no, hold on, we gotta go over here and get this part figured out. Watch that for a minute. Now we're gonna cut back to here. Oh wait, we're near the end of it already. What happened? Because they're trying to do it like both real time, which is sad because you want to see more of that big climactic battle, but you don't. It's like I wanted more. Like, you shouldn't be leaving me wanting more, but I also get it. I mean, with the high quality of the animation this movie has, like, you can see the hairs on Chris's arms. That's how high, like, how far CG has come. And, like, the little hairs on his beard. Oh, more like his, what do you call it, the outer glow. It's not really a beard. Damn! we've come a long way with technology. So it's going to cost a lot of money to extend a scene or make it longer. I'm sure during the storyboarding process they really had to cut down on some scenes as far as time and money goes. Granted, I'm sure Capcom has plenty of money, but with the series and Street Fighter, I'm sure they've also lost a lot of money. And that's okay too. For me, Resident Evil Vendetta is a great movie, great eye candy. If you're a fan of the series and you're not someone who just despises like anything between Resident Evil 4 and after, then this movie is definitely up your alley. Now, would you show it to someone as a newcomer coming into the series? No, I wouldn't recommend it. They'd have no idea what's going on, what the characters' backstories are, because the movie assumes you know the backstories of Chris, Leon, and Rebecca. If you don't, you're gonna be like, well, why are they so skilled? Why do they either love or hate fighting bioterrorism? Why are they motivated on moving forward and stopping this threat? What's Chris's motivation to really stopping Glen Arias? You're not gonna know all the little details. So start with maybe Degeneration. As far as like the movies go, that's a better start. And then also have someone start between like whatever the one you'd recommend between the first 4 original Resident Evil games and then the first 3 of the newer ones. For me, I'd go like 2, 4, and 6, or 2, 4, 5, and 6, and then bring them back because the original games were a whole lot harder. But you could really play it in any order. So leave that to you guys as far as being a Resident Evil fan. And that's kind of, I don't know. This is more of a discussion and a review. I guess I have to leave it a letter grade, huh? Well, it's not. This is a new movie, so it's not going to be a nostalgia type of thing. Yeah, that's nostalgia related. I say it's a B-. It's not perfect. It's good. It's great eye candy. I love it. I love the story and everything. I wish it could be more, and I find it hard to believe that you can walk off such an injury as far as being thrown against a building at super high speeds. But, you know, stuff like that you gotta let slide. I wish there was more consequences or permanent injury and a little more of an ending. You can literally think, if you've seen any Resident Evil game or any movie ever, you know the ending. You already know it. I don't have to say a word. Because it's literally the same as almost every other Resident Evil ending. And that's what really irks me too. Like, seriously, that's the ending? Okay, well, watch it if you haven't already. Be sure to subscribe to Farley Productions for more unscripted movie reviews. And if there's any movies you want me to watch, let me know. As of 2018, I'm planning on doing marathons of reviews to where I'm going to take like a whole series and go into it. And I'll decide if I want to start doing scripted reviews for newer types of movies. I probably will. These unscripted ones are kind of all over the place, but I can really get down and talk about why I like a movie or why I don't like a movie without like taking 40-50 minutes on a super detailed scripted review, or even 30. It seems like all my scripted reviews are long, and I'm trying to avoid that. These I can cut up. But hey, let me know. Anyways, have a great day, guys, and I'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe. Have a good one.